Okay, so Ross, thank you very much for coming to our conference. And your speech was about learning by design. Could you explain us this concept?
Sure. Thank you very much for inviting me. It was a pleasure to be here. Learning by design is really thinking about the way in which a dyslexic mind works, and that it's often said we have design minds. But also I think that it's about how do you design education which enables learning, because at the moment the way in which education is organised disables us and prevents us from learning and makes us feel we're stupid. So really it's about looking at what my experience was of the education system and then thinking about what are the implications and what could have been different. And at the heart of that idea is that the big problem that underpins all the personal drama and difficulties is really working memory difficulties. And it looks like other things. It looks like a problem with reading or a problem with organisation.
Maybe problem of attention.
A problem of attention, yeah. All these different things, but they're all underpinned with a problem of working memory. And my view is that dyslexic people by design are much more holistic and visual in the way in which they make sense of their experience. And if you do it that way, you don't need very much working memory. And suddenly you're in an environment where you have to do everything in a very sequential, step-by-step, very language-based way, and suddenly you fail, and you have to try and explain this to yourself, but you don't know about working memory. You just know, I can't do it. And so it's about that, and trying to get across that the personal difficulties one has are perfectly understandable if you understand about working memory, and has enormous implications for education in terms of it being suitable and fit for purpose for everybody.
Yes, you mentioned a very interesting experience. You said it was, for me, easier to get my PhD studies, doctoral studies, let's say, to the people, or than my primary school experience. Could you explain?
Well, the thing, when you're doing a PhD, you have to find something that you are passionately interested in, and you have to organise your learning so that you can make sense of that. And you do it in your own time, and you do it in ways that suit you. Whereas in primary school, I was a very excitable and curious child who suddenly found they were totally incapable of doing what I was expected to do. So it was a nightmare. And I remember my father deciding that he was going to take over my learning of reading, because no one seemed to be able to do it, and he lasted about 2 hours, by which point he was so furious with me for mispronouncing words that he got really angry, and a lot of my primary school, because it's quite formal as well, was traumatic, and very stressful, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I just knew I couldn't do what they wanted me to do. And whereas a PhD is a piece of cake compared to that.
So you mean that also in the primary level, it should be very important to create motivation and involve children in their own experience or project?
Yes, and also I think it's really important to create a culture where mistakes are valued, as opposed to you're punished for them. Because my experience was being punished every day for things I couldn't do. Whereas if someone could have said, okay, that's really interesting, you can't do this, why? Let's look at that, let's make sense of this, let's try another way. That would have been really different.
Okay, thank you very much, Ross, for your contribution.
Thank you.